Hello friends, welcome to this short video lesson on p-value for continuous data. Actually, this is my part 3 video of the video series on p-value. Let me take you through my presentation. Yeah, I have shared my screen with you and I am going to explain you how to calculate p-value for continuous data. So p-value is often a complex topic, and I will try to make it as simple as possible for all of you. So what is basically p-value? In statistical analysis, p-value is a calculated probability of your test statistics assuming a value greater than the value you observed in the study. So p-value, the probability of significance is nothing but the calculated probability of your test statistics being more than the value what you have observed in the study. So with that understanding, let us calculate p-value for certain scenario. And see here, you are seeing a standard normal distribution. I call it standard normal distribution because mean is 0 and standard deviation is 1. And your Z value in your statistical study, Z value is found to be 1. Now I want to calculate the p value for Z equal to 1. So what is the definition we learned? P value is equal to probability of Z being more than the observed value. What is the observed value? 1. So probability of Z more than 1 is what is the p-value, is what is the probability of significance according to this study is concerned. And so this probability is found to be 0.1587. And so the p-value is 15.87%. And please note here, this is a one-tailed study. We considered the significance only on the right side portion of the curve and not on the left side. Only Z crossing the value of 1 is considered in the study. And of course here we found p value is 15.87. Suppose if your level of significance is 5%, we understand that the probability of significance calculated is more than the prescribed value of 5%, that is which is level of significance. And so under such scenario we don't reject our null hypothesis. That means there is no significance in the study. This is what we generally consider. Let us take one more example. And now your Z, the observed value of Z in your statistical study is 2. And so according to the definition, what is the p-value? Which is probability of Z being more than 2. And so the probability of Z being more than 2 is indicated in the red color area, and which is 0.02275. 0.02275 means the probability of significance is 2.275%. And in this case, it is less than the level of significance. And so you can reject the null hypothesis in your study, right? So basically, if you have any process and your Z statistics, you want the Z statistics to be at the target. If your Z statistics is exactly at the target, your Z value will be 0. And generally we say we go for 95% confidence level in any statistical study. So at 95% confidence level for a one-tailed test, that means you observe significance only on one side of the curve. Z should be 1.645, and that is what is indicated here. And beyond 1.645, the probability is only 5%. Now you observe a Z statistics in your study, and that is called Z calculated. If the calculated Z is false here, that is false well before the 1.645, then in this case the event is considered to be insignificant, or otherwise the movement of your Z from the target value is considered insignificant because it has not crossed that 1.645, because significance is observed only beyond 1.645. Suppose if the calculated value in your study, calculated Z value in your study falls in this region, now you can understand definitely the calculated Z value will be more than 1.645. When the calculated Z value is more than 1.645, and if you calculate the probability of Z being more than 1.645, it will certainly be less than 5%. And so the probability of significance is found to be less than the level of significance, and hence we reject the null hypothesis. So this is a case with respect to a one-tailed test. And let's see one more example. And here this is a two-tailed test. When it is a two-tailed test, the 95% of the events are expected to be observed between z equal to plus or minus 1.96. You see plus 1.96 on the right, minus 1.96 on the right, and between which you will have 95% of the possible z values. That means beyond 1.96, both plus and minus, you will have only 5%. When I divide that 5% into two halves, I get 2.5% here and I get another 2.5% here. Now I conduct a statistical study, and in my statistical study, I get a z value somewhere here. When I get a z value somewhere here, the probability, definitely the calculated value of z will be more than 1.96. When my z value is more than 1.96, the corresponding p-value will be certainly less than 5%. Being a two-tailed test, I have to calculate the portion of area beyond the calculated value of z on the right. Same way, I will have minus z here. I have to include the area beyond the minus z value on the left side. As a result, my total p-value will anyway be less than 5%. So I will consider the observed event as significant whenever the p-value goes less than 0.05. That happens only when p-value happens in the red area. Suppose p-value happens somewhere, the observed z value found to be somewhere before 1.96, and now the difference of the observation from the target and this gap, even though there is a gap, this will be considered insignificant, because when you calculate the same p-value and using the same logic here, it will certainly be more than 5%. So we will not be able to reject our null. So to conclude, let us take one more example, and just by looking at the graph, you can understand this is a two-tailed test, right? And see here, this is a standard normal distribution with mean equal to 0 and standard deviation equal to 1. And now see here, your the z value is 2. Z value found is 2. If it is 2 on the right side, you will have, being a two-tailed test, you need to consider minus 2 on the left side. And so what is the p-value here? Probability of z being more than plus 2 plus probability of z being less than minus 2, right? That means beyond plus 2 on the right and beyond minus 2 on the left. Of course, being a symmetrical curve, you will have 0.02275 on the right side. Similarly, 0.02275 on the left side. These are nothing but the probabilities of your z to be beyond the value of 2. And so according to the formula, I just have to add the area beyond z equal to 2 for both sides, which is 0.02275 plus 0.02275. So I get 0.0455. That means it is 4.55%. The probability of significance is found to be 4.55%. In this case, it is found to be less than 5%. So according to the 5% level of significance, I will now be able to reject my null hypothesis, right? And this is how you need to calculate the p-value, and then you can take your decision by comparing the p-value with the level of significance. If the p-value is less than the level of significance, you can reject your null hypothesis. However, if the p-value is more than level of significance, you will not be able to reject the null hypothesis, right? I hope this video was helpful for you to understand how the p-value is calculated for continuous data. If you like my videos and if you would like to see more videos about the Six Sigma tool and about the statistical tools and techniques, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this lesson.